Hey there! Did you know Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Kroger app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Kroger today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. In the 90s, there was a stretch where industrial music was pretty much right at the forefront, and you could easily take a look at, obviously, Nine Inch Nails, but then you had other bands like Prick was out there, and you had Ministry. But today we're going to be covering actually one of my favorite albums from that era, the debut self-titled album from Gravity Kills. And here to join me to go down this road with me, none other than Alex returning to the show. Alex, welcome back. How you doing?
I am great.
Okay, so now people who listen to the last Spin Shuffle Skip on Soul Decisions, No One Does It Better, that was your pick of the two episodes that we recorded in that recording session. This one was my pick. So had you ever heard this band before? And if not, what were your thoughts when you got to at least the first track and realized, oh, we're going down this road?
So I had never heard of this band before. And as soon as I started the album, I was not expecting this, like, at all. When I hear Gravity Kills, I'm thinking either like classic rock or metal, and this was a complete mind-blowing experience. Honestly, it was so good.
I mean, when you take a look at some of the albums that were coming out around that time, especially some of the soundtracks too, like, you know, you go back to the Crow soundtrack, you know, and you know, groups like My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, getting some really, really good industrial themed tracks on there. This was a movement at the time, you know, even groups like KMFDM. And keep in mind, Gravity Kills was on TVT Records back then, which was the home of Nine Inch Nails and KMFDM. So they were kind of right at home with this. But you take a look at the soundtracks of that era, there's a lot of this on there. And I need to put this out there, okay? The song Guilty, which was the biggest single off of this album, okay? In movies, Seven, Beowulf, Evil on Queen Street. TV was in the show True Blood. And video games, Test Drive Off-Road, NHL 99, Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Like, this song was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And it's really, really cool. But more cool than that, when I put out on social media, on X, that we were going to be covering this album, Gravity Kills chimed in themselves.
Yeah.
And I want to read out exactly what they put in, because their approach to this album was basically for this album to be played as a whole. So I want to read out the two tweets that they responded. And by the way, thank you guys, Gravity Kills, for, you know, reaching out and allowing us to quote you on this one here. So to quote the band themselves, "To us, the album as a whole doesn't work without Forward." And I say that because DJ Brett Law also chimed in with a bunch of his picks, and I'm going to spoil his skip right now as the song Forward. "That's the bookend to Hold. That album was made to be an album and not just a group of songs put out on the same piece of plastic or vinyl. It was literally made to be listened to in its entirety. The album's from a different time, and it's literally sequenced with transitions to be a front-to-back journey. Falls into the they don't make them like they used to category. If you have vinyl or cassette, here is the last song on side 1, and Enough is the first song on side 2. So going at that mentality for this album, you could almost listen to this album like a concept album, and I freaking love me a concept album. So maybe that's why this album kind of really resonated with me. So I'm going to be very, very blunt in that I'm going to be very biased in my picks here. But that also being said, my skip then is also only because I made the rules of the podcast and I have to abide by my own damn rules of the podcast. So my skip is literally not anything indicative of the songs on this album. It's just because I got to pick something, because rules be rules.
Rules do be rules.
Rules do be rules. But let's get into this album here. It was released in March of 1996. The band is Jeff Scheel, Matt Dudenhofer, Doug Furley, and Kurt Kearns. The album hit number 1 on Billboard's Heat Seekers charts and was number 89 on the Billboard 200. Of the 3 singles that were on there, Guilty hit number 24 on the Modern Rock charts and number 86 on the Billboard 100. So I'm going to go to you first, Alex. Your spin pick off of Gravity Kills' self-titled debut album.
My spin was Inside.
Ooh, that's a good song.
It's so good. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I made the stank face, you know? This also being the first time I heard this, I am so grateful that streaming services allow such a good flow of songs. Like when it comes to this album, they're continuous, right? They're meshing into each other. And, you know, I have Spotify, so when I'm listening to one song after the other, it flows really nicely. And if even to the point where I realized I was listening to this album like 4 times in a row. It's a 40-minute album, and I spent my entire beginning of my work shift going, did I just listen to this like 3 or 4 times? I'm not mad about it.
Yes, you did.
It was fantastic.
Oh man, that is such a good song. And there were times too, I'm gonna be very honest, like one of the bands I was really into around this time was Stabbing Westward, and songs like Inside really gave me that Stabbing Westward, Darkest Days kind of vibe, because that album from them was phenomenal. I'm actually going to go back one song on this disc for mine and DJ Brett Law's spin pick, and that's Enough. Like, of the singles, of the big singles that were off of this album, I mean, don't get me wrong, Guilty is good. It's very good, but to me, Enough packs a bit more punch. And, you know, if I were to get the chance to see Gravity Kills live, which for the record, they are still together and still doing live shows. So please go out and see them if you get the chance to. But this song is so good. And the breakdown in the middle of the song is so creepy cool. Like, creepy cool. I freaking love it. Like, it's almost like they have like some weird backwards singing type chant that's going on in it. And I'm like, I love this. It's a hook and I love it.
I agree. I love the effects of the reverse vocals and stuff like that. It's very spooky.
All right, so now for my shuffle pick, I'm going to go to the other big single off of this one, and that was Guilty. Like, this was the song that hooked me with Gravity Kills. Like, absolutely hooked me with this one. And I can't get enough of it. Like, to me, if you were to force me at gunpoint to make a list of the top 5 industrial songs from the 90s, Guilty is going to be in the top 5. Bar none. Absolutely bar none. Shout out to DJ Brett Law as well on social media, who chimed in with his picks. He ended up picking Goodbye off of this one for his shuffle. But for you, what's your shuffle pick?
My shuffle is also Guilty.
You're guilty that it's guilty.
I'm guilty. It is a fantastic song. Honestly, when I first heard it, I went, "Oh man, I think these are the guys who did like all the songs that I really liked of this horror movie, Ghost Ship." It turns out I was wrong, but you know, I discovered a bunch of stuff with this. Guilty is you took the words out of my mouth. Like if this was playing on shuffle at someone's party and they went to skip it, I think I'd hold them at gunpoint. No. Play the damn song. Play it.
You're not skipping that one.
Yeah. No, it's a great song. This album was really, really tough to pick anything. Like, I even told you in the DMs, I'm like, this album took me by surprise, and it's No, I think I'm gonna slowly discover the rest of their albums too. Like it's so good.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, there are only 3 major, full length albums that are out there. But I guarantee you, if they ever make their way even close to here, then I'm going to, do my best to go and see them live. For the record, by the way, DJ Brett Law's pick, Goodbye, that song was actually featured on the Mortal Kombat film. So yeah, that tells you exactly everything you need to know about that time and how good some of the music out there was. And we have covered Mortal Kombat on It's Not That Bad a while back. So be sure to go and listen to that episode as well. But now we get to our skip pick. And I feel bad because I spoiled DJ Brett Law's skip pick because he picked Forward, which is the opening intro track off of this album. So your skip pick, what did you go with?
My skip pick, just because I had to pick one, I picked Down. Just because, I don't know, out of everything that played, I feel like that one I had not as strong feelings as I did with the rest of the album.
For me, I ended up going with Inside. So I find it funny that your spin is actually my skip. But like you, like this is one of those, I had to pick something, right? I couldn't just sit there and go pass. Yeah, I'm going to pass on the skip. No, as much as I would, because I would still listen to the song. But in comparison to the rest of the album, the changes in this song didn't hit as well with me as the rest of the songs did. But I would still, like, if someone puts this on, at a party, I'm not hitting the skip button at the party, guaranteed. This is just I'm literally being held at gunpoint and I have to pick a song, because when you make the show, you have to live by your own damn rules. So I stand by it, unfortunately, that I had to stick with that. But, if you are into industrial music and you have not listened to this album, you need to go listen to this album. And, that will open the doors to a lot of other acts that I know that eventually we're going to be covering on Spin Shuffle Skip. Like, I know that first Prick album is, I need to cover that album because it was so good. And so good. And I'm surprised that they didn't do more. But, as with every genre movement, there's going to be the ones that stand out and the ones that are there for a brief moment and then they're gone. I'm so happy the Gravity Kills are still together. So if you guys do actually make your way up towards Toronto, please just do it. Just do it. All right, Alex, before we go, please remind our listeners what your spin, shuffle, and skip picks are.
So my spin was Inside, my shuffle was Guilty, and my skip was Down.
And for me, my spin was Enough, my shuffle was Guilty, and my skip was Inside. Alex, thank you so much for this. DJ Brett Law, thank you for your chime-ins. And to Gravity Kills, thank you not just for making the damn album, but for chiming in and letting us know your thoughts on this album. I completely agree that this is one of those discs that needs to be listened to front to back. Alex, before we go, please remind our listeners where they can find you out there on the interwebs and what you're up to.
So you could find me on YouTube at AC Official Music Page, and on Instagram under Photographs by AC.
All right, dude. Thank you so much for this. And to you, our listeners, thank you. Now, you guys know the drill. If there is an album out there that you want us to cover on Spin Shuffle Skip, hit us up on social media at OnlyOneCast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our Coming Soon page so you can see what episodes we're preparing so you can chime in with your thoughts and be cool like DJ Brett Law. Until next time, he's Alex, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Spin Shuffle Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.